Amidst the beautiful land and architecture of Cambodia, in 1975 lied a communist party, the Khmer Rouge. Led by Pol Pot, the Khmer Rouge, meaning Red Khmers, destroyed the land that led to widespread famine through what is known as one of the most tragic genocides in history. With attempts for agricultural reform, the cult arrested, murdered, and forced labor upon the people of Cambodia, primarily those with connections to the government, intellectuals, and those with various ethnic descent. Though what seemed to be a lifetime to the victims of the Khmer Rouge regime, the 4-year war has scarred its people, leaving them with chilling recollections of the past and their country, a complete destruction.
It
was 1974. I was 21 years old on that time. I used to be a Buddhist monk. I left from the temple and go join the army.
Being a Buddhist monk is one of the most important duties for young men in Cambodia. They spent their time studying the Dharma way of life through what is called Tua. One major study of Buddhist monks is to never do harm to others or any living species. Leaving the Buddhist temple, my father was forced upon one of the most difficult decisions ever: to leave his studies at the temple aside and serve in the army, or watch helpless as the Khmer Rouge army destroyed his home. He then decided to enlist in the Khmer army to protect his family and serve for his country. In April 1975, Pol Pot's army invaded the capital, Phnom Penh. They forced the Cambodian people out of all urban areas to work on farms under the Khmer Rouge. The communists had outsmarted the Cambodian army, taking them captive, murdering the top commanders one by one, and slowly moving down the ranks. Luckily for my father, he was just a first-rank soldier, so the Khmer Rouge sought no interest in killing him. However, they treated him like a prisoner, forcing him to work in the farms with very little to eat. Some days, his group of 13 others were fortunate enough to receive a 12-ounce can of uncooked rice. Other days, his group would work for 18 hours with no food at all. After a year of living in fear under Pol Pot's army, my father and his group plotted an escape from their imprisonment. They left at night and traveled west toward the Thailand border until the sunrise. During the day, they would seek shelter in the jungle, hiding from the Khmer Rouge army. Some nights traveling was easy, other nights were difficult. It seemed as though my father was blindly being hunted, not knowing where his hunter was. The Khmer Rouge soldiers were everywhere, so splitting up the group in pairs would give a higher possibility of survivors in the end than dying altogether. On the 9th night, my father became very ill with malaria. He had severe flu-like symptoms, and with only jungle fruits and insects to eat, walking, nonetheless running, was a very difficult task. His partner, along with other soldiers and Cambodian escapees, decided to rest for the night and hopefully be recovered for the following night. He and the others had suddenly been awoken by a gunshot nearby. Despite his condition, he got up with his partner's arm around him and began running again. He could hear the frantic breaths of his fellow Cambodian people around him in between the gunshots. To feel less useless being dragged by his partner, my father picked mushrooms off of the ground to save for a later decent meal. It was dark. However, each gunshot seemed to light up the jungle. And with each brief spark of light, my father could see fallen Cambodian soldiers and people all over the jungle. After living in Thailand for a few months, my father and his partner were reunited with 2 of his fellow soldiers from their camp.
When I get to Thailand, we only left only 4 people.
They had planned to all meet in the Tamon Temple in Kokkan City. The other 10 soldiers were never reunited and have assumably fallen with the other estimated 1.7 million deaths of the Cambodian population.